Develop a fortune state of mind, state of mind. It's time for a date with, time for a date with the Dorseys.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another date with the Dorseys. I am one of your favorite hosts, Dr. Jatan, and
Floyd Dorsey IV. And by the way, I am your other favorite host.
I thought you were going to say the.
No.
So together we are Dim Darn Dorseys. And you have tuned in, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, you tuned into A Date with the Dorseys. We are back with another episode. We are so elated to bring to you yet another piece of this financial series that we've had going on here. So hopefully you've caught the previous episodes. If not, make sure you do.
Please find them.
And come back.
Yeah,
and come back to this
for
one.
Sure.
Yeah. Because in the words of Steve Harvey, we got another good one for you today.
It's a home run hitter.
So before we jump in, I know you are wondering if it's your first time. Who are these folks? What do they talk about? I'm glad you asked. Because we are typically talking about the 5 F's, but the foundation of our topics is to encourage a fortune state of mind. And in doing so, we talk about topics that include 1, 2, 3, or all of the 5 F's. Mm-hmm. And you may be wondering, well, tell me more. What are the 5 F's?
I like to make A's. What are you talking about? F. All right.
Okay, if you want to take it that way, yes. In this case, the F's are good. And they include finance, fitness, family, fun, and faith.
Gotta have faith.
Gotta have faith. So, again, our topics are all driven with the notion, with the intent, with the desire to encourage you to either develop or enhance a fortune state of mind. And by that, we don't necessarily just mean money in the bank, although, again, we're talking finances for this series. That is a part of it. We are also including a fortune state of mind from a holistic state, right? You as a human being, how you be in life, love, and business. Mr. Dorsey, you got anything to add to that?
No, I think you hit it right on the head, right? So that's the theme of us, and that's our focus. But beyond any of those things, it's really about empowering you, right? You as the individual, you as the business, you as the family, the unit, the empire. Really uplifting you in every way possible so that you can truly make that impact on the world, make that mark to demonstrate your value to your community, to your family, most importantly, to yourself. Because oftentimes we'll beat ourselves up in so many different ways before the world even has a chance to even impact us or beat us up itself. So it's important, again, to have that, maintain that, grow, and empower that fortune state of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that was not our topic for today, but we had to let you know what it is that we do, how we roll when you come to A Date with the Dorseys.
That's it.
Right? So now that we've gotten that out of the way, also, if you are looking to follow us, which I hope that you are, make sure that you follow us, like our post, download, all of that good stuff.
Share.
And you can, and share.
Of course.
And you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Dim Darn Dorseys.
How you spell that, though?
It's spelled D-E-M.
It's an E in there?
D-E-M. Usually I'm emphasizing the D because we don't want you to go and search for T-H-E-M. It's D-E-M, Darn Dorseys. And we'd love for you to come check us out, follow us, share, like, love, all that good stuff. Download, play, put us on repeat, replay, whatever they call it now.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
But all of that so that we are in your repertoire. Now, with all of that being said, let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So today's topic is, what is it?
Saved by the budget.
Saved by the budget. So again, we are talking finances. And if you did not tune in to the previous episodes, we've talked about budgeting. We've talked about
we said budget over broke.
Okay,
right?
he gonna bring gonna bring the real topic.
Well,
Go ahead then, sir.
It was about having a budget, setting your foundation.
Yeah.
Then we talked about holiday spending hangover.
Ooh, that was my favorite.
Right? Yeah, it was. It was a good one. That was really focusing on more of your spending habits, spending patterns, and things of that nature, and making sure you spend wisely. But today is about save by the budget. Now, I know for some of my more religious folks, you can call it save by grace, and for some of my students that are out there, you can call it save by the bell. Either way,
Right.
it's really about saving here.
Absolutely. So, as we jump into this topic, save by the budget, you want to open it?
Yeah, so one of the things that we'll open with is, if we're talking about a budget, and I know we hit on this in a previous episode, but if we're talking about a budget, one of the main things you're going to do or need to do, and I encourage you to do, is have a picture, actually have a list of the income or whatever the finances or dollars you have coming in, and then have a clear picture, a list of your bills, what's going out, right? So whatever, you're getting to start to do any initiative, whether if it's a business, a project, or just running your monthly household or your monthly bills, you need to know what's coming in and what needs to go out. And somehow you'll do a comparison of the two, right? You want to have the picture to show, all right, so if 1,000 is coming in, then 800 is going out. Okay, so now I have a picture as to what will be left over or what's left from my income. And then we'll talk later about what to do with that at a different time. But I think it's truly important to be able to true up that picture so that you really truly understand, all right, so based on my living patterns, my habits today, the things that I do, the coffee I buy, or whatever it is that you're doing, where is my money going and how much? And then for your income, some people have multiple sources, so you want to include all of the sources of income money coming in and being able to really compare that picture.
That's good. So, I think that really ties into what we've talked about in the previous 2 episodes as we kind of draw all of these things together, because they all play in the symphony together. They are all separate instruments, but they're in harmony, right?
Harmony.
So you just talked about creating that budget and making sure that you're clear about what's coming in and what's going out, so that you can then have a better line of sight as to what you have left over, so that you can then take the next steps to say, okay, how much do I pay myself? How much do I save? How much can I spend on that coffee that I typically like? Does that mean I can get it every day? Or do I need to pull back and get it once a day? Or I'm sorry, once a week? So, yeah.
And I think to build on that, what's going out is probably one of the most critical parts, right? Because most people, wherever they work or whatever they do, if you're in a corporate job or some professional job where you get paid a certain salary or a certain amount per hour, you pretty much know, right, what's going to come in. And you can pretty much see that through for the whole year, right? Especially if you got a raise or whatever is going on. You have that picture, so it should be really no surprises on the monies that you're going to receive that's going to come in. But what's tricky is, for most people, is what's going out. And believe it or not, most people probably really don't have a true picture of that. And a good time is now. I guess any time is now, always now. But a good thing to do is just to go through your bank statements. Since, we have the benefit today versus prior times, most of the times, all of our transactions are electronic. We're using a debit card, a credit card, or some form of electronic payment where we can truly go back and see a log and see the history of our spending, as opposed to, some time before where it was cash. And once you have cash, it would just seem to bleed out and you not really know, like, where did it go? Where did it come from? Right. I mean, not where did it come from, but where did it go and who has it? But with with the way we spend today, we have the unique benefits that a lot of financial institutions they have. They have statements where you can go through and see every line item, and some of them, believe it or not, can even help group them for you depending on, again, your financial institution. But you could see like travel; they can bucket them on.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
and it's amazing where you can have a better picture for yourself, where you can check in monthly. Yeah, and see that picture on what's going on. But again, an interesting point here to talk about on your money that's going out is, are those costs, are they fixed or are they variable, right? For example, your fixed costs, something that you know that you're going to have to pay is going to be the same amount. You sign a 12-month lease. Every month, you know how much your rent is going to be, right? That's fairly fixed, at least for the defined time period for that year. For your mortgage, those who have mortgages, you know exactly how much it's going to be every month, probably for some time, unless taxes or insurance, those things do change, some slight variation. But overall, there are certain fixed costs. Your car note, right? Your student loan payments, whatever those things are, understanding, is it a fix or is it more variable? Variable being like your electricity bill. In the wintertime, you may be paying $120 a month. In the summertime, it may jump up to $350. So some of those things will vary. Your grocery bill may vary. But being able to identify those particular costs is certainly important as well. And we'll get into here shortly what to do and how to really maximize some of those variable costs that you do have that's showing up on your balance sheet.
Right. So just to go back to our focus for today, though, to really drill down on the savings piece. I know we talked about the budget and being clear about what's coming in, what's going out, what you got left over, what you need to pull back on. But a good rule of thumb, if it's something that you are just now starting to do, haven't really been a saver. I know people that don't save, and even had communications or conversations. I should say.
Not in this house.
Not in this house at all. But had conversations with them, and it's like, yeah, I've never saved, and whether it be because they didn't have anyone before them, mom, dad, whomever, that saved or showed them how to save, or that they feel like, what's the point in saving? I'm not going to use it later, not really understanding. We talk about that emergency fund and, having money ahead of time before you realize this issue, whether it be, I don't know, your house flooding or your car breaking down or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just having that source of funds to make sure you have that cushion so you can bounce back. But what I was getting to is that, starting with a percentage in mind. And one that I've seen often is a method that's called 50-30-20. And that's just spending 50% on needs and 30% on wants while allocating 20% to your savings. So truly getting an idea, at least having some sort of standard or a guideline for yourself to start with at the very least. And that's just one example, but I've seen even floating on Facebook and in other communities, just doing things like $1, starting your first day with saving $1. The next day save $2. The next day $3.
That's it. Amazing tools,
right? That you can do that apply to you or can accommodate your situation for wherever you are. So if you have a job, if you can't save $1 a day, we got a bigger problem.
We have a bigger problem.
We don't need to be talking about savings yet. We need to talk about something else.
Go back to
mindset.
The spending. Yeah, and I think to the mindset point, I think this is really the mindset piece, right? Everything we talk about deals with the mindset, but this particular with finances, and most times that I think find people's problem is it's not the fact of money management. I think it's the mindset about money and their relationship to funds and their relationship to themselves. If you're challenged with, I don't know, impulse buying, right? What is it that's making you impulsive? To go and just say, I'm in the store, so I have to pick up something. I have to buy something. Or are there things that are going on where you're saying, I'm not feeling good, but when I buy myself, I need the dopamine, I get a rush. When I buy myself something, I feel like a better person. Again, those type of things are truly mindset, and they're beyond just your everyday spending that we're discussing today. But it's certainly a part of it because you have to truly shift your mindset. So if we talk about your budget and your costs, and Jatan mentioned a good principle is the 50-30-20 principle. But I think the most important part is with your monies, you want to find the opportunity. So once you have a clear picture on what's coming in and what's going out, and let's say you have $200 left over. Wow, that's great. right? And you certainly should be investing or saving that extra $200. My question to you is, based on the variable costs that we just discussed, are there opportunities for you to go out and carve out perhaps an extra $20? That's the challenge to push yourself to. Can I find a way where I can reduce some spending to save an extra $20 for this pay period? And so if you do that over the course of a year, we're talking, roughly another $1,000 or so, right? That you're able to save if you're getting paid biweekly, right? So it's like give or take 40 bucks a month. So so it's probably about $500. But nonetheless, you're able to identify that money that you're able to save, and what can you do with it, right? And finding other ways to do it, and being creative with yourself and pushing yourself. I see that I have $200 left over. Now let me push. What can I reduce? Should I shop differently for my groceries? Can I, instead of getting this small pack of water, and I know that I'm drinking water every day, perhaps I can buy a bigger bulk of water and get a reduced price, and then that same water will last me for a longer period of time, and in turn reduce my spending on a variable cost like your groceries and things of that nature. So again, the most important part there is really finding that opportunity for you to go just a little bit beyond what you normally do.
An example of that for us, I'd say, that came to mind when you were saying that, was cable. Because we didn't necessarily watch a lot of TV, and it was just getting expensive for no reason. And HBO, they play the same movies, so well, what's the point? So although they find ways, of course, to lock you in, that being internet and different plans that require you to keep a certain level of TV access per se. But still negotiating and working through that to determine what's best for your household, so that you can pull back on those things that are wasteful, things that you don't use, things that you are. Those are desires rather than needs.
That's it.
In a situation where you have an ultimate goal for your finances. So that was one thing that we pulled back on, was the cable.
That's it.
And Apple TV is our best friend.
Yes, it is. AT&T TV. Yeah, that's it. I think this makes me think of an episode. I think of Everybody Hates Chris, and I'm not saying go this far, but it was an interesting episode where the father, as many know, if you've ever watched these, fairly frugal, he went into his son's bedroom and saw him sleep, went into Chris's bedroom. And he saw that the clock was on, and as we all know, that the clock produces a little light, lights up. He unplugged the clock, said, "Hey, you can't tell time while you sleep. Let me unplug that. You're wasting. That's waste of electricity." He said, "I saved like 13 cents right there," or something to that effect. I'm not saying go that extreme. However, what I'm saying is that's how we need to go through our lives and our spending with a fine-tooth comb and find those opportunities. And I promise you that they are there. And some, you may say, well, Floyd, look, I make $1,000 in a given month and my expenses are $1,200. Then I'd say you certainly should be looking for those opportunities, whether that's opportunities to, and if you're all the way down to the bare minimum, I'm saying now we need to be looking at more opportunities to put you in a better situation to produce more income, right? So we're dealing with the other side in that situation. But again, it's going to be one or the other. And I think the most opportunity is found where people can, from what they're already producing, what they're already doing right now, they can lower the cost for some of their expenses. That's
good. I'd say also it'll be important in this conversation to mention that when we talk about savings, it doesn't just necessarily limit us or limit you to a savings account in your bank account, right? This could also apply to your 401k. This could also apply to your life insurance. So there are different ways to save that will be beneficial for you down the line.
That's it. I think it's truly important that once you create the capacity, the additional dollars, It's how do you move and how do you position those additional dollars? And I think to that point, it is, and we'll talk about it maybe in the next episode or another series, is now where do you put the additional dollars? Where do they go, right? Because just because we're saying save, we're not saying savings account. And as some of you know, the interest from a savings account nowadays is very, very, very low. So it may be some missed opportunity there by just putting your dollars in a savings account. But what we're really emphasizing here is in your expenses, being able to save money and how to go about saving those additional dollars. So the next thing to consider, well, this is just really it's a question that I have for people in general, and it's fairly simple, is truly, can you afford you? Right? I know that over the years, we've all developed and acquired or start to acquire this champagne taste with
Kool-Aid.
with Kool-Aid money, right? Yeah. If we're still drinking Kool-Aid, but
yeah.
But that's truly the question: is can you afford you? Because in the world of today, we have so much glamour that we see at a glance on Instagram and on Facebook, and it's like, wow. I'm seeing a string of different people's lives, and I'm seeing some of the highest points of those individual lives. And to me, all I see is one stream, one life, and I'm wondering, wow, how do I live up to that? How do I compete with that? Wow. And so you start to develop a different acquired taste. However, your income hasn't grown with you. Yeah. So, the question is truly, can you afford you? And before you answer, I would really say go back to some of the earlier points to find out. Yeah, so you have to see your income and your budget to really be able to truly answer that question.
Yeah, and it is very unfortunate to your point about social media, because in that aspect, it's kind of shifted off of social media into real life, where you see this played out in reality for people, right? They see other people, whether it be a group that you're a part of, a club, or whatever it may be, that the individuals begin to try to keep up with what they used to say back in the day. I guess they still say keep up with the Joneses. The
Joneses,
right? Trying to do what the Joneses are doing, because I got to make sure I'm appearing to be at least to that stature,
That's
right?
it.
That financial bracket, when you may just not be, and that's okay.
And that's okay. But the thing is, people would say, well, hey, who wants to follow me if I'm not living or giving the impression that I'm living this life? So the feedback that I receive from the people is so valuable, because they make me feel good when I post this picture of me going on this vacation or doing this thing.
So that goes back to my earlier point. We need to have a different conversation than about savings.
That's a different conversation.
We need to have a mindset, confidence,
that's it.
type of situation, a workshop.
Yeah.
But it's sad to say that is the case for some. And if that is you, don't feel bad, because, I'm sure you're not alone. But that's why we're having this conversation, to let you know that it's better for you to stand in the place that you currently are and not try to put on as if you are somewhere else. And that really will put you in a worse state later on.
Well, they say fake it till you make it, though.
No.
And that's a cool thought, right?
Right.
It says fake it till you make it.
Good.
Don't go broke till you make it. It says
Right.
fake it.
Right.
Not actually go to the store and spend and buy this stuff. That's not faking it.
Exactly.
You're actually doing it.
Exactly.
So if you're going to fake it till you make it, hey, you better go there, window shop, look at it, pretend you're swiping your card,
right,
and then go home with your pretend bags and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But,
or like to your point earlier about saving, just find ways to get those things at discount, whether it be with the Joneses. Hey, you done with that? Let me purchase that from you. I mean, that's just an idea. I'm just saying, if you got to have it, let's be smart about these moves so that your pockets still looking decent.
Yeah. And again, we're not going that extreme. I know there are some great teachers
right,
and great resources and out there, and anecdotes and stories of people that, severely have sold all of their assets, and I'm going to liquidate my house, and I'm going to sell because I know I can't afford it. I'm going to sell my cars, and I'm just going to get a hoopty and eat beans out of a can. And there are some people who've done that successfully and proven that anyone could achieve it and live in a great life now on the other side of it. We're not saying go that extreme, but what we're saying is go to the extremity that's necessary for you to improve your situation. So for some, if it requires that, then that's what you have to do. For others, it may be some slight tweaks here and there that put you in a better position overall.
Absolutely. And when you talk about those different programs, I know Dave Ramsey sticks out real quick to me, where he has his snowball effect, and
that's it.
And he has the app with
the
baby steps, and the app with every dollar. So that's just some resources, or a resource that you can leverage that can, one, get you in a community of people that are actively working towards this goal. If you don't have the wherewithal or the discipline to do it alone, then you do have resources out there to get you on the right page.
I think you said something that really stood out, and I know you said it stood out to me. It was the community part, right? Having others around that will endorse, encourage, inspire that same mindset. Yeah. Where the winning is, hey, I was in the hole every month, $200, but now I'm in a positive $50. And there are other people that are going through it with you that can celebrate and enjoy it, and you can high five about those type of things, as opposed to saying, yeah, I had bought a Gucci bag for $1,000, and how can I come up with that rent money or the mortgage or whatever it may be, right? Yeah. So again, it's that community that you
and mentioned. Again, it's not about it's bad having a Gucci bag, because I mean, I like Gucci too.
Can you afford you?
Exactly. That goes back to that point, right? So I just want to make sure we're making sure we're clear to everyone that's listening. We're not saying don't go buy your Gucci if that's what you can afford and it's within your budget and all that good stuff, but making sure you make those right decisions. But back to you bringing up the community piece, I'm glad you highlighted that, because your further discussing it reminded me quickly of a friend of mine that actually it just made me think of her, just because she initially wasn't in a place to be able to save or to, buy the great things or do these, things that she may have desired to do. But eventually with discipline got into that place. But between those two spots was a process. And not everybody understood it, especially family. And so it was enjoyable for me to, one, watch her blossom into this state of, success and from a financial state that she had never experienced before, but also again in the between the A and B points, the process, there were times where she would have to say, hey, I got to look at my budget. Let me make sure I'm on track. And she may come back and say, you know what, I can't do it this week. Let's hook up next week.
Someone asking for something or trying to hang out or
right.
Go to
she had to make those tough decisions. But at one point she eventually told me she really appreciated the fact that I didn't come back and say, well, why can't you afford it? Well, we didn't meet up last week. Can you move? Why can't you? Didn't question that, but more so supported her.
Having a community around to say,
having the community to support you.
Awesome.
Say, yeah, you know what? That's good, girl. I respect that. I'll catch you next week.
Or you could just come by here and let's just hang out.
Let's hang out at the house.
At the house.
Yes.
We have some good bottled water
or even, hey, I'm so proud of you. It's on me this time.
That's it.
And so it was just not only me being just so excited for her, but also just being a part of that process for her and watching her grow and blossom into that was just joyous for me even. Yeah. So just again, back to your point about the community highlighting that piece, it's good to have someone that's in your corner that understands your goals, understands and respects your goals, and supports you through the process.
Good. I think to build on the point with your pretend friend is we talk about is the point at which she made her assessment and she was looking at the opportunity cost. I think most of the time when we talk about our spending, our finances, one of the things we really don't consider enough is opportunity cost. And so some of you may be wondering, what's opportunity cost? What do you mean? And I'm glad you asked, right? So it truly is just the loss of a potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. Meaning that if I go and spend $100 on a new T-shirt, what's the other opportunity? What's the other alternatives I missed out on spending that $100 or putting it into a savings account or an IRA account or something to that effect, right? It was the opportunity that I missed out on by choosing the first alternative to spend that $100 on a T-shirt. Now, if I would have put that $100 into, let's say, an IRA account that let's say it's growing at 5 or 10%, whatever a year, then at the end of the year, I have a T-shirt that's 1 year old, versus having $105 or $110 in my account. Now, if you compound that over time and you're talking about adding more and more $100 decisions, you're looking at the difference of having some clothes, right, that are aging or old. It felt good when I bought it, right? It was a real good feeling when I bought it. I got a few compliments on pictures. People enjoyed it.
And nowadays with social media, you're probably not even wearing it
now
twice.
I can't wear it again because I already put all the pictures that are out there on it, right? So how do I deal with that?
Right.
Versus me having thousands of dollars based on those small micro decisions of just truly looking at the opportunity cost for myself and for my life and for those decisions, right? So again, it's really the trade-off. What could I have truly have done differently with that money as opposed to spending it the way that I did? Now, sometimes the opportunity cost may come in the form of, do I put my money in a savings account or do I use some other investment tools, right? If your savings account is not outpacing the rate of inflation, then you have to consider, is there another alternative where that is outpacing inflation, where I can put my money and now it's growing beyond that pace versus just leaving it in a savings account that's not performing as well as I'd like for it to. So again, these are critical points to consider, but opportunity cost is something that you should always refer to when you're making those financial choices.
Opportunity cost. That just makes me think, I know we probably need to wrap it up here soon, but
Yeah.
The opportunity cost makes me also think about, again, society and technology it's advanced, right, today and continually, and how now we have these opportunities to order through DoorDash or Favor or get groceries delivered or have groceries even selected for you. You just stop by and pick them up. But these new technological, I'll call it that, innovations are increasing the cost of that very thing that we could go and do or be by us getting up and actually taking care of it of our own. However, in that, you have to think about, again, as you mentioned, the opportunity cost, because does it save me time or peace of mind to pay this extra fee for someone to deliver the food? Or does it provide me that peace of mind and that sanity, or save me time to have someone deliver the groceries or whatever that thing is? Just determining, what's best for you, what's the opportunity cost for you in taking advantage of that.
Yeah, I think to that point, in your contemplation, especially we're talking about like grocery pickups and DoorDash and things of that nature, you have to ask yourself the question, is it money or time? Which one do I have the most of and which ones do I have left? How can I trade off? I know in some cases where people that are have more wealth or whatever it may be, they tend to trade money for time, right? I will pay the additional dollar so that I have more time to spend on more income or higher income producing activities.
Yep.
Right? Especially maybe some of our entrepreneurs or things of that nature, whoever you may be, right? I have that luxury because I know that 30 minutes me spending to go to the grocery store, that's 30 minutes I could be making or producing more income or reading or doing something else that's going to stimulate or put me in a position so that I can achieve more. Mm-hmm. While some others, on the other hand, say, hey, no, my time, I'd rather trade time for money. I have more time, but not enough money. So let me spend the time so that I can save on the money and be in a better position. But again, those are questions to your earlier point about opportunity cost. You really have to assess and understand your situation. It may change from month to month, year to year, decade to decade.
Yeah.
So,
thank you for saying what I said and enhancing it.
For sure. That's what we do, right? You lay it out, I'm going to build on it, and vice versa. But truly, this is what we're talking about here, saved by the budget.
So, I mean, the meat of that is having the budget.
Got to have the budget.
Then you can be saved.
There you go. For my religious folks, there you go. You are saved.
Yeah, and I do want to highlight something that we mentioned, I think, in one of the no, I know we did, but I just don't remember which of the previous series episodes for this, which of the previous episodes for this finance series, if I could get all of that out.
Got it.
That it was mentioned, but we were talking about the reference that a speaker that I had kind of tripped up on YouTube had mentioned, and he's from like back in the day type speaker, but he was just talking about money and the relationship that you have or should have with money. And that money is a female and she gets jealous, and the way that you think about her or talk about her is how she will respond to you. And I know my husband earlier was mentioning that, you know, how your mindset about money. So I wanted to make sure we highlighted that again, because that is truly going to be a heavy driver in your success from a financial perspective. Once you start this budget thing and that's your first step, it may not seem like you have much opportunity. It may not seem like you can, you know, increase your income and decrease your output or whatever, you know, whichever aspect you need to improve on. But over time, that can and will happen when you first change your mindset about money and understanding that it's currency, so it flows. That's the intent of it. So that's why I know this year heavily I've been doing it just because it's a part of the meditation I do, whether it be just before I put my foot on the ground out of the bed. It's just something I can recite to myself mentally. But money flows through me. I attract money. I manage money well, you know, saying those positive things about money, because all too often we are not created. I would say we were influenced by, you know, prior family members or whomever it may be, to feel like money is a bad thing, or to feel like I can't have money or I won't have money. So just changing the narrative and your relationship with money itself.
That's it. Well said.
Oh, thank you.
Very much so. I can't do anything with that.
You can't?
I can't. I'm just going to let that sit right there.
Okay, well, they might need to let it sit there and let it marinate. Perhaps that's the reasoning for that. So with that being said, we are going to call this an episode, but as you know, I'm the
closeout queen.
There we go. And here she comes. If you would like to follow us, which I know you do, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Dim Darn Dorseys.
Where?
Dim Darn Dorseys.
One more time.
I said Dim Darn Dorseys.
Okay.
On Instagram and Facebook. You can also email us at support@fortuneenterprise.com. And Fortune is spelled IVTUNE. Enterprise.com. Make sure you email us. Make sure you connect with us on social media. Like, love, share, download our podcast episodes. And hey, we are available for speaking engagements as well. So hit us up. We have a Book Me link on our website, on social media, all of that good stuff. So make sure you connect with us so that we can come in, spill and pour into your audience as we do here.
That's it.
So with that being said, we are going to shut this thing down, and we look forward to you tuning in to our next episode. Bye for now.
Bye.
Develop a fortune state of mind, state of mind. It's time for a date with, time for a date with the Dorseys.